Do you like your American history fictionalized and with a female protagonist?
Are you Team Samantha, Molly, Kirsten, or Addie?
If you've ever designed a doll to look just like you, or had your parents tell you that doing such a thing was way too expensive, you might be a Xennial American Girl fan, and we are too. Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Danny, and welcome everyone to Generation In Between, a Xennial podcast where we remember, revisit, and relearn all kinds of things from our 80s childhoods and 90s teen / young adulthoods.
That's right. And today we are continuing in the spirit of the holiday season with an episode on the item millions of kiddos hoped they could unwrap and hug on Christmas morning: American Girl dolls and books, of course. Although you can't really hug a book. Well, you would hug a book.
I probably have hugged books.
Yes, absolutely. You probably. It's not even funny. Why are we laughing?
I don't know.
I'm thinking of you hugging a big stack of books.
I'm going to do
Well,
that today.
that's awesome. But before we before we get too into that, Danny, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, great.
Do you know what Saturday is?
Double show day.
Yes. That's true. Double show day. We listeners, we are both in A Christmas Story at the Henniger, and we do have 2 shows Saturday. But it's something else. December 7th.
Is it when they were first released?
American
Girl Dolls?
No, it's not related to American Girl Dolls. It's a real life thing.
December 7th?
Mm-hmm.
Is it something sad?
No.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the show. Here's something sad.
Oh, let me just apologize, everybody. I've had mucus either in my throat. Now it has moved up to my sinuses for like a week and a half, and it is just not leaving. So excuse me while I sound weird.
That's all right.
Perfect.
Hey, I'm taking most of the lead, so you only have to sound weird a little. December 7th.
December 7th
is our 1-year podiversary.
It is.
Yes. Our first, we were recording before that, but our first episode went live. That was the one on Pagers, December 7th, 2023.
That's crazy.
So it's almost been a year. So we'll have to reflect on that maybe in our bonus episode.
I know. Maybe we should do that in the new year.
That would be fun.
A whole episode.
That would be really fun. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. What has been your favorite episode so far? I'm just going to continue to put you on the spot.
I was
off
just
the top of your head.
Like, I was thinking of that when you said it's a year, because we've had so many good ones. Like, I can tell you what my least favorite was.
Let's hear. I already know, but tell me
all
anyway.
The true crime. Y'all know I don't like true crime.
Yep.
I'm my least. But my favorite ones, I think, honestly, are the ones that we like did spur of the moment. Like when we're like, we don't have time, let's do trivia. Let's do, or the tasting, like taste testing was so fun.
That was really fun.
Those are my faves, I think.
Yeah, those are really fun. And hopefully we'll do, well, not necessarily more spur of the moment, because we're trying.
I know.
I feel like we've been pretty organized, but we're trying to be even better.
Yes.
Speaking of, we are still working on YouTube. We thank you all for hanging in. We, today, if you came and saw one of the first ones we uploaded and you're like, nah, come back, because this one, we have good lighting. We're using a new streaming platform, not Zoom. No offense, Zoom. You're great for video conferencing, maybe not so great for
I don't
podcast
think you're
videos.
Supposed to use Zoom for podcast videos.
I don't think so either. So we're on a podcast-specific platform. We won't name yet because we're going to see how much we like it.
Yeah.
And moving the camera a little closer, better angles. Oh, and another really important thing.
Yeah, we did not work out first.
We did not.
I was telling Katie, like, we were sitting there texting back and forth, like, how can we make this better? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, honestly, like, we usually do Katie's workout before we record, because we try and just, if y'all know Katie, she tries to get as much done in one time as she can, because she has a lot happening. Okay. So we try to have a block of time where we can just knock a whole bunch of things off her list. But then we look so raggedy.
Horrendous. We're like just giant sweatshirts over the sweaty clothes, but then our no makeup and our hair's all matted, and
I don't know. And
not a good start.
You know, and I actually put in contacts today because I actually got some more. I was like, I had like 3 pairs left. I wear dailies.
Ooh.
And I don't like to wear my glasses on a daily basis, just because they get in my way. This is like old people problems. But my eye doctor would not answer the phone, guys.
Oh.
I emailed them. I called them. I left messages. I needed more stupid contacts.
Yeah.
So finally I drove over to the office.
Oh, no.
And was like, hello, can I please have my prescription? They're like, sure.
Oh, they
Hello.
just wanted you to come over.
Anyway,
They just want to see
I don't know
you.
why we're talking about contacts. Let's
Well,
get back
that's
to
okay.
fun.
So come find us on
Podiversary.
YouTube, Podiversary, more on that to come. So whether you're an OG Jennifer or a new listener, we are glad you are here.
Yes.
And here are some really quick ways you can help us, by the way, here on the show. You can leave us a 5-star review wherever you are listening. Any platform. You can also do the same on Facebook. Leave a comment and a 5-star review. What else?
Yeah. Oh, share us. Share us on social media, on all the platforms. We're still trying with TikTok, guys. I just realized today, oh yeah, we haven't put anything on there in a while.
We're gonna be back. If we get some good YouTube clips, we can make
true.
shorts from that too.
Yes.
Yay.
And just tell your friends about us. If your friends want a sticker, let us know. We still have some.
We have stickers. We will send them for free. And if you
Yeah.
are a deep cut fan, head on over to Patreon and become a subscriber. And we're also on Apple Podcasts now. I tell you, I got that in place this morning.
Wait,
so
we've been on Apple Podcasts.
Sorry, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts.
I
So
was like, that's
you
where I
could
listen.
always subscribe to the normal feed, but you can be a patron now on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, for their little like extra stuff on
Correct.
Apple
So,
Plus or something.
Yeah. So if you would like our bonus episodes, you don't have to go to the Patreon app. It'll just, if you're paying $8 a month, it'll show up in your Apple feed.
Ooh, that makes it easy for people like me who just want to click and make it easy.
And they're both the same. So if you're already on Patreon, then you can stay put. But if you want to just, if you just want to give it a shot. And I believe Apple gives a 3-day trial as well. So you can give it a shot and be like, which you probably won't be, because some of those bonus episodes
are hilarious.
They'd be crazy,
They'd
guys.
be good. Yeah. And also, like, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. The best thing you can do, because listen, I am one of those people who's like, if it costs money, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I am the worst. And here I am telling people, come do this. And then all my podcasts, I'm like, I'm not doing that. But anyway, the best thing you can do is share us.
Yeah.
And review us as well, because that helps us a lot.
Yes. And subscribe on YouTube, even if you're not going to watch us there. We're up to 9. So I would love to get in the double digits this week, y'all. Maybe you could be lucky number 10.
Maybe you could be the 10th person to watch us be raggedy on YouTube.
Yes. And you don't even have to watch. Just subscribe.
Do people, I mean, is that like a thing? Like, I didn't know that people would listen to podcasts, watch podcasts on YouTube.
They do.
Okay. I see. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't. I like podcasts because they're audio and I can, well, as you mentioned at the top of the episode, I can be doing 100 other things. But some people even like it on in the background, like Carlos, when he's working, he'll turn on the YouTube and he'll still be able to like look up and watch us while he's doing other stuff. And he likes that.
That's crazy. Like, I would be so distracted trying to do actual work and hear us jibber jabbering.
Agree. But, it takes all kinds. There are people who can.
There's like several people who listen at work.
Yeah.
Like that they've told us they listen to us at work. And I'm like, are we like the Saturday Night Live NPR ladies? Do you know the Sweaty Balls one?
The Sweaty Balls. That's a great podcast.
That's Danny. Not I can't even fake that voice.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yeah, we're like them. But anyway, the point is, whether you're listening on Apple, Patreon, Spotify, watching on YouTube, on our TikTok, God bless you. We're thankful for you. And just keep sharing as much as you can.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. All right, Danny.
I'm so ready.
I think it's time to meet these dolls.
Let's go.
But first,
let's meet the dolls.
Let's meet the dolls for the first time ever.
That sounds like a
But first, tell me, did you have American Girl dolls, books, or any of their merch?
Okay. Guess what I found the other day?
God.
I'm going to pull, I have my phone in my hand because I took a picture of this. I had the original American Girl doll.
Yes.
Samantha.
And
I actually have a picture of me on Christmas morning with her. I think it was the year after I had her.
Okay.
I don't think it was the year I got her.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was written on the back that it was Christmas 1988 because my grandma would write on the back of pictures when stuff was. Thank God, because we never did.
Mine too. Yeah. My grandma did.
And here it is. Look. And she was in her full little outfit.
Oh, okay. That was just in the reel you posted, wasn't it?
Oh, did I?
Maybe not.
No,
Maybe
I think I waited.
Christmas
Look how glamour we look. So good. Yeah, my sister with her feathered bangs.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was 1988. Yeah, Christmas 1988.
That's awesome.
So I don't know if that's the Christmas I got her or but
Could have been
I did
based
have
on the
her.
timing. It could have been.
And when I remember, and I'm sure we'll go into all
Mhm.
this when you start going over it, she was the only one for a while. And then Kirsten, maybe. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to steal your
Yeah.
thunder.
No,
But
no,
she
you're
was the
good.
only one I had. And the main reason I wanted her, this is so stupid and will sound really dumb in 2024, was because she had brown hair and brown eyes.
Yeah.
And you couldn't find a lot of dolls. I mean, there wasn't a lot of representation
For
for,
anyone
well, hold on. I mean, obviously, diversity was
was an issue.
lacking
Yeah.
hugely. But I remember like being so excited she had brown hair and brown eyes, which
Oh.
sounds so dumb because now I mean, they're everywhere. But
Yeah. No, that doesn't
yeah,
sound dumb. And I mean, it's a good reminder, right? Like that
yeah,
we feel comfort in and feel seen in things like toys.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now granted, there were plenty. I mean, like I hate to even say that, like representation, because there's tons of white dolls out there. Like, you know what I mean? I
I know. I know you weren't saying like I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
get you.
anyway, so did you have them?
I did not have the dolls.
Oh,
Yeah, my parents were of the camp that they were too expensive,
yeah, they were very pricey.
and we'll get into that. But I did get a lot of the books because you
Okay,
could get
yeah.
the books separate. So I had all of Samantha's books, all of Kirsten's books, Molly's books. Later on, I had Addie's books, and I really loved them. And then, and we'll get into this too, but you could only buy them through mail order catalog
Yeah.
originally.
Yep, you could.
They weren't at stores and the internet didn't exist. Well, it might have, but not for consumers. So you couldn't buy them online.
Nope.
So I remember the catalog coming.
Oh, yeah.
And even those early years, it would have like the early years of their existence, it had, of course, the dolls and the books, but it had all this extra stuff you could get. But I never had a doll. Never did.
Aw.
I know.
Do your kids have one?
Two of them do.
Okay.
Amelia and I did the like trip to the American Girl store
Oh,
in
cute.
Orlando. So I'll pull up some of those pictures maybe for the social. I
stop.
want to say she was like 8 or 9. So there's a picture of her coming out with like a big bag, and it's really cute. And
Aw.
so for a while, she wanted all the stuff for
Yeah.
it, like the bike and I don't know the house, all the stuff. And then and I think I was kind of vicariously like
Well, of
living through
course,
that.
we do that.
And then Erin, I think, has one, but I think someone gave it to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So none of them have been like huge into it, but there have been little snippets of it here or there.
You know what used to happen to me this because I have 2 boys, everybody. And I mean, not that boys can't play with dolls, but mine didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I don't know who put me on an American Girl mailing list. But for years, every Christmas, I would get this American Girl catalog.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, this is cruel torture for somebody who does not have
Right. You can't.
anybody that wants these dolls. And I'd be like, I
Yeah.
want that. Like,
Right. Because you don't have any nieces either, do you?
no, I
Yeah.
mean, my sister does, they have chosen not to have children, as well as Troy's older sister. And then his other siblings are younger.
Right.
And then, well, I do. Ooh, I need to probably my step siblings.
Mm-hmm.
My stepsister has a daughter and son, but we're not very close.
Got it.
So
So you
it's
wouldn't buy
not-
her an American
And
Girl.
then my stepbrother has boys.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, I would not. It like if I got her that, I wouldn't.
Right. And
And-
and again, boys
Yeah.
could want that, but that's probably
for
not
sure.
something you're gonna like go out and buy for them without
Well, if
them
they wanted it.
expressly saying they want it.
For sure.
Correct.
But they did not want that.
Yeah.
And so I'd get this catalog and I'd be like, dang it, again?
So they still have a catalog?
Well, I don't know. This was like back, I don't even remember where we lived. It was like years ago, but I swear, and we moved all the time and
Yeah.
it would follow me every Christmas. I'm like, dang it.
oh
like,
my God, that's
What?
amazing.
This is so mean.
But now I really want one,
I
so
know.
I'll have to look that up. All this research I did, and I don't know the answer to that. Oh well.
The catalog?
Yeah, if they
I'm
still
pretty
have
sure
it.
they still do.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so we've come this far, but I'm just going to give everyone the very basic definition of American Girl dolls.
Okay.
Okay. In case you don't know or you need a little reminder. So American Girl is an American line of 18-inch dolls released on May 5th, 1986 by Pleasant Company. The dolls portray 8 to 14-year-old girls of various ethnicities, faiths, nationalities, and social classes throughout different time periods in history. And they're sold with accompanying books told from the viewpoint of the girls. Originally, the stories focused on various periods of American history, but they have expanded now to include characters and stories from contemporary life.
Oh.
So it's not just historic periods anymore, which
Okay.
we'll get into. But originally, it was meant as sort of historical fiction.
Yeah. And like American Girl, when I remember when it came out, it was not the American Girl we have now. Hello, capitalism.
Yes.
Like they
that.
didn't have tons of stuff, extra stuff
Uh-uh.
there, and it was more. I felt like it was more. I don't want to say simple because that's not the right answer, but it wasn't as uh, they were dolls, but I felt like the history piece was bigger.
Was a big
Do you know
deal.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know why I remember that, but
Right.
I do remember
Yeah,
that.
no, I remember that too. So, just a little overview. Since 1986, 162 million books have been sold.
Wow.
Right. And 36 million dolls have been sold through the company's catalog, retail stores, and website. So that's an example there. 36 million dolls, but 162 million books. So
Yeah.
there's more books sold over time than the dolls. Although, to be fair, one doll would have several books.
Right.
So there's that.
They had like a collection.
Right.
And when you would, back in the day, when you would buy a doll, it would come with a book or two.
It came with like a 6-book series.
Oh, it did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
According to this. So,
oh wait, I do remember that. It was
yeah,
like in
it
a
was
box set.
it was like the whole series.
Yeah,
You would
yeah.
get the whole series.
I
Yep.
do
And
remember
they
that.
weren't like super thick or anything, but
No, they were pretty short.
yeah, they were pretty short. And then their retail stores have welcomed over 114 million visitors.
Dang.
And they really kind of paved the way for experiential retail, meaning you don't just go buy something, you experience the thing while you are there. They really kind of were at the forefront of that, which we see a lot more now. But that was a big deal when they started doing like their little theater and their tea parties.
That's
and there
so
was like a
cute.
doll boutique where you take your doll and your doll could get its hair done. And
What?
they still have all this and their makeup. And yeah, they kind of were at the forefront of all of that.
I love that so
It's
much.
so cute.
It's so ridiculous, but I love it.
I love it too. It's fun.
It's probably a good thing I did not have children that wanted dolls because I would have spent a fortune.
You'd have everything in here right now. We'd be like, wow.
I mean, because to be fair though, like we are still spending a fortune now because the kids are into video games and like collecting cards.
So
and
what's
crap.
the difference?
I know.
But
that Troy has fun with that. And I'm just like,
oh. You're like, Dr. Mario, please, can we just play that over and over again?
I love that you can get their hair done. That's so cute.
It's so cute. And their social media channels today have over 3 million followers.
What do they do on there?
They post about the different girls. There's still dolls that come out and books that come out. Oh. We're going to talk about that.
Okay.
They have a girl of the year every year. So it's like introducing a new character and she has her own book and she looks a certain way. And so like all of that. Okay. And then they have a lot of the historical stuff too on their social. And then they also have a virtual museum. So you can go like look like an official. I mean, you can go anywhere online and find the history of this stuff and all the different dolls, but it's like their official, here's the dolls that came out and here's all the things you want to know about them and the different characters and books. It's pretty cool. I went and checked it out. I liked it. So I mentioned that it was released by Pleasant Company. So let me tell you a little more about that. So the American Girl brand was the brainchild of someone named Pleasant Rowland.
Wait, their name was Pleasant?
Her name is Pleasant.
That is so cute.
Yes, she is an educator and an entrepreneur. No duh.
Yeah.
Born in 1941. She is still alive and is 83.
Go, girl.
You go, Pleasant.
Go, Pleasant. But you know what? If you have a name like Pleasant, you could, like, if you're in a bad mood one day, you're like, nah.
I'm Pleasant.
You like,
it's me.
That's a lot to live up to. Like, if you name a kid Pleasant, like, you know.
Oof, they either have to be the opposite or that.
I know.
You can't like be in between.
Wouldn't that be funny if they were just like the grumpiest person?
That'd be awesome.
In the world.
So obviously I don't know her well. She doesn't do a lot of like interviews and stuff, but the pictures I saw of her and everything.
You don't know her well?
I don't. Just a little. I only have met her 0 times and seen her face to face -3 times.
Oh,
but
stop.
She does seem
pleasant.
She really does.
Okay.
She seems like she lives up to her name.
Love it.
So she was very highly educated from like a affluent family in Chicago. She became a school teacher in the 1960s and actually got into writing textbooks.
Okay.
And was pretty successful at that, which we'll come back in a minute. And then she actually became a news reporter for a while. And so she was visiting Colonial Williamsburg in the early 1980s, and she does not have children of her own. And she noticed a toy gap in the market when she was trying to find dolls for her nieces.
Oh.
And she was like at this really cool historical place, and there was like literally like nothing to buy for them that was fun. Really, the only option was like Barbie, which was like fine. But she was like, I think we're like really missing out on something here. So from that idea, she started the American Girl Doll Company at age 45.
You go, middle age.
Okay, so like there's still time for us, my friend.
I mean, I'm not making dolls, but let's
hey, to
do
have a great
something.
idea. In my notes, I put pause for Xennial effect.
No, you did not.
I did.
She totally did, guys. In caps.
In all caps.
Pause for Xennial. What does that mean? What is what?
I wanted all the 40s, 42 and 43-year-olds listening to be like, wow.
Like we could hear them? Like, pause for applause, even though no one's here.
And this is not live. Well, you should have had a bigger reaction.
I'm sorry, you're right. It's the cold meds.
It is. It's delaying your Xennial effects. So
Xennial effects.
The Xennial
so
effects.
Good.
So she, of course, saw this opportunity to create this product that combined historical education with imaginative play.
Love it.
And she was very big into literacy and reading. That's kind of her specialty. So by this time, she actually lived in Wisconsin. So the dolls started their manufacturing days and the book publishing in Madison, Wisconsin.
Everything is in the Midwest.
I said, these girlies are Midwest born.
Seriously, all the time. Everything we talk about
All
is like
the time.
invented in the Midwest.
Telling you, it's those winters, man.
I know, nothing to do.
Nothing to do but invent stuff. So she's just like Pleasant, my friend, the one I don't know that well. She seems like a really cool lady. She's a huge philanthropist, mostly locally. Like she's kind of known through like Wisconsin and then the Midwest, but other places too. So her company, American Girl, was completely self-funded.
Wow.
She got no loans, no investments. She had saved, now this is back in the early 1980s, $1.2 million in her textbook royalties.
What?
Yeah, so apparently she's really good at writing textbooks. And she invested it into her company. And she told CNN when they asked her about this years later, American Girl seemed like $1 million idea. I did put $200,000 aside in case all failed and plunged in. And as we know, it paid off.
Dang.
So I found her on Forbes list of like whatever, and she's like in the 40s of like on whatever list I was on. They have a zillion lists.
Oh yeah.
And it says on there like self-made millionaire or whatever. Like that might have been the list. Like people who like did it themselves. Now, granted, you have to have money.
Well, you have
to you have to have 1.2 million set aside from the textbooks that you wrote because like your parents put you through school.
Well, I was gonna say it all comes back to some kind of privilege to begin with.
It does.
It does. So you have to like, that's a part of the thing that the whole like meritocracy like myth,
right?
You know what I mean? Is like, oh yeah, if you just work hard enough,
right.
You got to have some luck and privilege mixed in with it because you got to be able to, first of all, be allowed to be in the right rooms, and then to even. Because, I mean, think how many people have amazing ideas that don't go anywhere.
Well, and how many years it takes you.
Oh, yeah.
If you're like, I need funding, I need someone to support this. Trust me, I know from trying to like sell businesses or sell book ideas or whatever. Even this podcast, like we can't, like someone's going to have to find us or we're going to have to take it to other people and be like, hey, don't you want to like, not just you guys, listeners, but like companies and big podcast networks, because we definitely come from privilege. I'm not saying we don't, but if we had 1.2 million to invest in it, we'd be blowing up.
Right.
I think. I hope.
I mean, we still have
a lot of money.
We still have privilege that we have equipment that we can use.
Totally.
We have the time to do it.
Yep.
Right. So I think that's just interesting though. Cause like I'm sitting here like, go girl, go. And I'm like, but also, she did, and not that you can't celebrate her success, but
absolutely.
It's still something to be noted because I think that is a trick of our country is that everybody's like, well, if you just try hard enough and pull yourself up by the bootstraps, myth. Nah, not really.
Yeah, not really.
You have to have help other ways and have to have privilege other ways. 100%. But anyway, but go Pleasant for doing what you can with what you got.
And for being a philanthropist on top of that.
That I love.
Good job.
Because I'm not going to like throw names under the bus here, but how many rich people do not do that?
Yeah.
In modern day times.
Yeah. Oh, So many. We won't
That
say
is so
any names
many.
because we're
That's
not
what I'm
trying to get
saying.
banned from any particular platforms. But yes. Okay. So in 1986, she actually launched the company. There were 3 dolls at the launch,
Oh, okay.
and it was Kirsten Larson, who was a Swedish immigrant,
Oh, right.
and she was adapting to a new life on the American frontier in the 1850s. And then Samantha Parkington was an orphan living with her wealthy grandmother, and it explored the contrast of wealth and poverty during the Edwardian era.
I forgot her backstory completely.
Yeah. And then Molly McIntyre, a spirited girl living during World War II, and she offered insights into life on the home front and the sacrifices made by families during that war. So it's pretty
Okay.
cool. So we already talked about this when they were first released. It was only the mail order catalog. So they were originally made in Germany by a company called Gotz. But
The dolls were made in Germany?
yeah,
Oh,
they were. I don't know the connection there, like
yeah.
why
That's
that
weird.
was, but they were. But, and we'll get to this too, production shifted to China
Ugh.
after Mattel acquired the brand in 1998.
Well,
And that timing kind of, you can see that's when like the retail stores and, which again, Pleasant doesn't leave the picture for a while. I mean, she's still living on this earth, but not involved in the day to day anymore. But even when Mattel bought it, she was still involved in the day to day for a while. So in 1986, the dolls cost $65. In
which
20,
that's a lot back
in
then.
2024, that would be $199. So now
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, mom and dad, I get it. Like, that's expensive. It put them out of reach for most people. They've actually become more affordable over time. Like, they cost more, but they're more
Oh,
affordable.
I
So
see.
just the doll in her
Inflation.
book and her basic clothing. So doll, book, basic clothing in 2024 is 125.
Okay.
So like $70 cheaper than when it first launched if you like account for inflation and
Yeah.
things like that. So in the first 2 years of the Pleasant company launching these, sales grew. The first year was 1.7 million, which is pretty good. She made her investment back to 7.6 million in the first 2 years.
Woo.
Exploded. So as the brand grew, new historical characters were added. Addie Walker, we mentioned her in the intro. She was introduced in 1993, and she was the first doll to explore the experience of escaping slavery and rebuilding a life in freedom during the Civil War era.
So I'm wondering about that one because
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about that when we started talking. I remember when she came out. Like, there's so much more to the Black human experience than having to go to slavery.
Correct?
So I'm just, like, I wonder how the Black community felt about that. Like, were
Mm-hmm.
they excited or were they disappointed that it was that?
That's what it was. Yeah. And obviously over the years it's expanded and
Oh,
there's
sure.
more
Thank
black
goodness.
characters now, thank goodness.
But I do wonder,
Yeah.
like, how that
I don't know
emotionally.
how it was received. That'd be something to look into. But I will say, and I consulted like lots of sources for this. They'll all be listed in the show notes. But it does seem like they take a lot of care with the research and how things are
Oh,
presented.
that's good.
There's another example of that we'll come across here in a little bit, um, with an indigenous character that communities were consulted, and even the design of the doll herself incorporates things that the community requested
Oh, that's good.
based on authenticity and that sort of thing. But the other part of it, because some people have complained that these are sort of like oversimplified
Yeah.
versions of whatever, but they kind of point out like they're children's books and they're fiction. So it's like, how much can you really get into
Yeah.
the weeds of some of this stuff?
I think that's probably where it's important that you have the right resources informing you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I think too, people are like, oh, but it's for kids, blah, blah, blah. Correct. But like, I think that even to be able to say that is a position of privilege, right? To be able to be
Right.
like, well, I don't have to tell you about this history because it's not pertinent to you or whatever. I don't know.
True.
So that wasn't exactly how
True.
I wanted to word
No,
that,
I
but
know what you mean though.
I wonder.
And
But I'm glad to hear that they have had consultants for groups that they are not a part of,
correct.
and I hope that that has made a difference. But because cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation we've talked about before,
Mm-hmm.
there is a fine line,
Right.
and I think it comes when you're trying to figure it out, it's who's benefiting from it and who is informing you about it. Like, so now my brain's going, okay, so they had the consultants, that's great, but is the community that they're making money off of getting any benefits?
Right.
Did you
Which
find
stands,
any of that?
I don't think so, other than like basic philanthropy, like money going back to.
Yeah. So then that's a whole other thing.
It's commercialism based on the stories of other people.
Right. Which would be appropriation.
Correct.
And that makes.
Same with the dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, yeah, let me bring you in and pay you a fee to consult you about this. But then all the money you're making off this is any going back to the community you're.
Right.
Yeah.
Or to causes that, you know.
Because appreciation, I mean, Jamila actually taught me this. Both parties have to be equally beneficial, right? So it's like it's not just like a here, I'm putting on this costume or I'm selling this doll and making all the money. Both parties are learning something or whatever, right? So it's appreciating. And I guess that's probably not happening. And maybe that.
I think so. I think you're probably right.
Like they got it half right.
Right. I will say I remember reading Addie's stories and really being upset about like the state of all of it.
Which
like,
you should, right?
Which is important, which is like the emotion they were trying to elicit. And I was probably the age where that might have been the amount that I could absorb. Although that's an argument too.
I know.
Can we be more honest as people, as children are younger? We just assume they don't want to know this or that. And it's just slavery was bad and now we don't do it. That's all that they can comprehend, but maybe that's not true.
Yeah. And I think too, that opens up a whole other thing. It's not just like when slavery ended that the Black community was treated equally.
Correct.
Like we're still in 2024.
Well, that's the thing.
Right.
Like, it's not just like, oh, it ended and everything was equal and great.
Because I feel like we were taught that a lot. We were taught that like, oh, the Civil War ended. Voila. And then I remember even as a kid, and maybe you're the same way because you're very, like, you also think outside the box. I remember thinking to myself, wait a second. So we had this country that was fighting against each other. And then the war ended. And then all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that all the people who were supporting this just went back. And then I remember thinking, but all the people who were enslaved, what did they do then?
Because, I remember thinking that
right?
too.
And you weren't taught that in school. And I don't know why. I don't know why we can't be more honest about our history in this. Well, I mean, I know why,
but I know what you mean. And it comes back to things like this.
It does.
Yes. I think it can be both. Like we've said, it can exist in both spaces, particularly Addie was 1993.
Yeah.
To say,
oh, yeah.
Yes, good for talking about it in this way and introducing like a humanized character through her eyes, not just being like telling it from, I mean, I guess it was probably still a white perspective, depending who wrote it and who they consulted, but not just being like, here's the facts, but being like, hey, if there was there were humans involved and this might have been how they felt or this was their perspective. So yes, but also like commercialism.
I mean, and capitalism and racism and probably patriarchy, because all the things tra-la-la down the street together.
They do. They do. So let's see. Okay. So this is what I was going to say. Each doll's story, and I think this includes Addie Walker, the company says meticulously researched, but they have this like star author. She doesn't write that much anymore, named Valerie Tripp, who's also a white lady. And she is also pretty accomplished. She actually got the job because she's a friend of Pleasant's. She graduated from Yale and has a master's in education from Harvard. So she wrote, here it says right here. She wrote all the books in Felicity, Josephina, which was an indigenous character, Kit, Molly, and Mary Ellen, and 3 of the books in the Samantha series. And then she's also written 4 of the 5 best friends character stories to date, which are some of the more modern ones.
So they have a white lady writing the indigenous story.
Yeah. Now who she consulted,
but still,
don't know. But yeah.
Okay.
So she's kind of like put hand in hand with these books.
Okay.
Okay, so then in 1995, so it's still the Pleasant Company. They haven't sold to Mattel yet. They actually decided to release some contemporary dolls called, this is funny, you're going to laugh this, not the name, but what I'm about to say, called American Girl of Today. In 2006, they renamed it to Just Like You. In 2010, they renamed it to My American Girl. And in 2015, they renamed it to Truly Me.
What?
I
And
don't
these
know.
are not American Girl dolls? They're just connected?
They are American Girl dolls, but they're like contemporary dolls.
Like brats? Or like,
So they are the same size and same
okay.
dimensions as the American Girl dolls. I guess the difference is they're not historical characters.
Oh, okay.
So the line has over 100 different dolls, and each doll has a different combination of face mold, skin tone, eye color, hair color, texture of hair, and style. And so American Girl says that they did this to allow customers to choose dolls that represent the individuality and diversity of today's American girls. So they have contemporary clothing, accessories, furniture, all the things, and they release new ones. That's what I was talking about. Like every year they have another one that
Okay.
comes out. So they're constantly making more of these. And each year a Girl of the Year doll is released, and usually she has a specific book with her. So for example, Mia St. Clair was the Girl of the Year for 2008. She was an ice skater. Marisol Luna was the Girl of the Year for 2005. She was a dancer.
Okay.
And then I believe it was like 2022. I don't have it written here. There was one release who had hearing disability and had like a hearing aid
Oh,
and a story that went along with that. So they have all these dolls that maybe don't have stories. They just look different. So they have all these different like things you can pick from. But then additionally, every year they have like a named one
Okay.
that has a book. Yeah.
Okay.
Which may or may not look like you
And they're
or
not
whatever.
historical. They're just whatever.
They're not. They're contemporary.
Okay.
They're all contemporary. Yep. So, as I mentioned, in 1998, Pleasant Company was acquired by Mattel for $700 million. Yeah.
Ooh.
So the brand did continue to produce historical characters for a while. It continued to expand those contemporary dolls, including that Girl of the Year line that started when Mattel was there. But the historical dolls remain central to the brand's identity at the time. Like Mattel said that was important to them.
Okay.
Some other places you can find American Girl, and we're going to talk about the retail store in a second, but they're in films. In 2004, Julia Roberts' company, her production company, produced a direct-to-video movie called Samantha, an American Girl Holiday.
What?
Yeah. And it spawned some spin-offs also through her production company, Felicity, an American Girl Adventure, Molly, an American Girl on the Home Front, and then a theatrical release. I remember this when it came out in 2008. Do you know the actress Abigail Breslin?
What she
She
look
was
like?
in. Did you ever see Little Miss Sunshine?
Oh, yeah.
Her.
Okay. Okay.
And this was 2008, so she was younger. Kit Kittredge in American Girl, and that was in theaters.
Girl, I don't remember that. Although, I mean, I had a 2-year-old and a husband who was deployed.
Yeah.
So
there's a reason you probably didn't see that one.
I don't know.
And so in 2009, along with those Girl of the Year dolls, they started releasing direct to video for each Girl of the Year.
That's where the money is.
Yep. And then in October 2016, they began releasing films on Amazon Prime.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. And then, this one's interesting. And I did not know this. So our episode may become very relevant at some point. In February 2019, Mattel and MGM announced the development of a live-action children's movie based on the doll line. And following the success of the live-action Barbie movie, Mattel is partnering with Paramount Pictures on a live-action feature. So they are actually, I did not know this, but Mattel is in talks to do live actions for all sorts of their brands. Barbie was obviously very successful. Hot Wheels is one that's in the works.
Lame.
Magic 8 Ball.
What? Okay, now.
Polly Pocket.
Okay, now that would be cool.
That would be cute. Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Oh my God.
And Uno, the card game.
Okay. Okay. This is capitalism gone too far, guys.
I knew you were gonna. I should have put pause for
Pause
capitalism.
For
pause for capitalism effect. Yes.
I whatever. Like, I can't lie though. I loved the Barbie movie,
It was good.
but you can't replicate that because
Right.
I think the Barbie movie was supposed to stand for so many other things than just a movie about a toy.
Correct.
What the hell is Uno going to stand for?
That's a very good question. What? I don't know. Polly Pocket could be cute though.
Polly Pocket would just be an adorable
American Girl
movie.
could be good. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're. I mean, I would guess they'll pick a specific American Girl to follow, or maybe it's like a girl who reads American Girl and
Maybe it's going
gets
to be time travel.
That would be cool. I would be
Bill
so
and
there
Ted.
for that.
Excellent Adventure American Girl doll version.
Oh my gosh. So, okay. So I should have said this at the top of the episode, and maybe on the bonus I'll expand, but I finished my first Stephen King book.
I know. I'm so excited.
And it was about time travel.
Oh, was it?
It was really good.
I haven't read that one.
It was kind of like, without
Maybe I
spoiling it, but it was like the premise is this guy finds this wormhole and thinks that if he can kill Lee Harvey Oswald before he kills JFK, then like the course of history will be improved. Like Vietnam won't happen, like all these different things, Vietnam conflict, war, whatever. And so it's kind of about him adapting to life, but the wormhole takes him to 1958, so he has to be there for like 5 years before he even gets to the point. And it's really good. And of course, like he falls in love.
Don't tell me.
And it's a whole thing.
It
was quite
spoilers.
good.
I hate spoilers.
It was quite good, and it reminded me I like time travel stuff and I like historical stuff.
I like time travel stuff, except I read this book that I hated one time that had time travel in it, and now I can't remember the name of it. Was it The Time Traveler's Wife?
Maybe.
I don't know. I hated it. It was so weird, and I love weird, but it wasn't the right kind of weird. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. Not the right kind of weird. Okay.
Time travel back to American Girl.
Yes, here we go. American Girl Place, the brick and mortar store.
Is there just one?
No, there are only 8 open right now, but at its height, there were like 20 all over the world. But now mostly the ones overseas have closed. So they sell American Girl dolls, clothes, and accessories. The very first one was 35,000 square feet in Chicago.
Oh, that's like an IKEA.
1998. So I remember like going in this as a teenager, like just thinking it was cool, but I was like too old to like get anything, but it was cool. And I just remember it's still there. It's huge. Then they had stores in New York City. And I told you about one of the services that the store provides is a doll hair salon. The dolls can get their ears pierced.
Get out.
Isn't that the cutest thing you've ever heard?
Is hilarious.
And they also have a doll hospital, kind of going back to our Cabbage Patch. Yeah.
Aww.
And you can bring your doll for repair. So as of March 2024, there are 8 remaining retail stores: Chicago, New York City, Los Angeles, Orlando, which is the one I've been to, Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, Franklin, Tennessee, and McLean, Virginia.
McLean, I've been there. That's close to that's in the DC area.
I was gonna say, I think it's kind of like a DC adjacent. Yeah.
I keep moving around, guys, because if you're watching on YouTube, my back hurts and my sinuses are bothering me. So I'm just wiggling. And Katie's like, what is she doing?
No, I don't care.
If you're watching, that is what's happening. If you're listening to me, then you don't know. But now I just told
you don't know. But now you can just imagine her wiggling. So, every time I look this stuff up, I have to look up controversies just to see.
Because we got to know.
We've kind of touched on a few of like, I don't know if they're controversies, but a few of the like, things. But there's a few more, right? So the first, there's nothing like huge, not like Lisa Frank craziness, nothing like that I found anyway. Can you imagine if Pleasant Rowland was like,
her like second marriage was Frank.
What's to that guy?
What's his name? Frank?
No, that's the last name.
I don't.
What was his name? Frank? I feel like it was. I feel like he had his own last name.
He was Frank.
Anyway, let's hope Pleasant at the age of
name.
83 doesn't marry Frank. Okay. So first thing, the price. Right.
Yeah,
so it makes them inaccessible to many kids. Of course, you can get the books in libraries, even school libraries, but the dolls and the merch, we went $125. That's without accessories. If you get them, the doll, the book, and basic accessories, $161.
Ooh-wee.
So a big critique of it is that the dolls are inaccessible to the communities that they say they're intending to represent.
Again.
Right.
Problem.
So like, we're going to make this doll to look like whoever, which again, economics is across all the way people look, of course. Yeah. But then like the children can't, there's only certain kids of a certain socioeconomic class that can even access these.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a big one.
Because you're catering to like, just talking from an economic standpoint. So basically upper middle class kids,
Yeah. But
economic wise.
but saying they're educational and, it's
Right,
like
but saying they're trying to educate on all kinds of stuff, but then you're only accessing. You know what? This is so random, and I'm just gonna throw that out there because it's in my brain. I didn't know this about Shaquille O'Neal.
okay.
Wait, is it him or somebody else?
I think I know what you're going to say. And if
The
you
shoes?
are, it's him.
Is it him? The
Yeah.
shoes?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know this, but I think this is so neat. And he applies to Xennial stuff. And I just have to throw this in there because I wish more celebrities would do stuff like this.
Mhm.
Cooper was telling me one day that Shaq designed shoes to sell at Walmart
Mhm.
because he was so frustrated. Now, granted, the fact that he has made a lot of money on endorsements and stuff.
Correct.
But he really does give a lot back. Like,
Mhm.
if you look into celebrities that give things back, you can find a lot. But anyway, he said he wanted to design shoes to sell at Walmart so kids who can't afford like
Jordans
and
yeah.
the Nikes and all the stuff could have access to some cool sneakers, and they are cool. What happened was we saw him one day in Walmart,
Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, those are cool," and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's Shaq." And I don't know how Cooper knew that. Probably YouTube, how the kids know everything.
Probably TikTok, who knows?
But I think that's important to recognize, like
Mhm.
with companies. Are you like really trying to reach everybody, or are you just trying to make your dollar? Because that's capitalism. I mean,
Right.
but I think there's ways where you can adjust.
Mhm.
Like maybe you don't make as much money in your company, but then more kids are able to enjoy and learn from your dolls.
Right. And the things that come with them, the books and all the things. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So that's just like the forever and ever, not
Forever and ever.
controversy, but criticism. Then in May 2014, the company was met with criticism on social media because it decided to discontinue 4 characters, not the originals, from the historical collection. 2 of them. One was an African American doll, Cecile Ray, and then a Chinese American doll, Ivy Ling. They said it was a business decision. And they basically just said, like, we don't sell enough. We're not going to keep these ones on.
Whoa.
And then they've also drawn criticism on the recent focus on contemporary line, which some people say lacks depth and the more critical issues for the characters' backstories and that sort of thing.
But they're supposed to be different though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're set aside.
But you don't always have to learn something from a doll. It can just be fun.
Well, I found this quote that I wrote down because I thought you would really,
Did
really
it say
like
that?
it. No, but it didn't. This is actually the opposite sort of what you were just saying.
Oh,
but
whoops.
But you say it other times, so it's okay. So a My Little Pony writer, Friendship is Magic. Her name's Lauren Faust.
Writer. I thought you said writer, like Rider. I was like, wait, huh? It's like, what depths of the internet are you on? Okay,
I'm sure there is.
Writer.
Writer.
Okay.
It's funny you said that because every time I use talk to text and I say writer, it comes through as writer. So I'll be like, I need to hire that writer. And then I'll look at it. It's like, I need to hire that writer. And I'm like, what is happening?
Well, it's because our language makes no sense. The W silent, and it's weird, and it doesn't make any sense.
Well, this
anyway,
My Little Pony writer with a W.
Okay, there we go.
Named Lauren Faust. And she had a Twitter post that went viral where she was talking about them discontinuing these characters. And her quote is that American Girl was once radically positive for girls before it was homogenized for money.
Oh, well, I get that point too. I mean, I get it.
Yeah. So anyway,
because that's not how they started. They started off with a bigger mission in mind, but then the ching, ching, ching money came along. And so I see what she's saying.
Yeah, that's kind of
wait. What does that mean? She writes for My Little Pony. It's a toy.
Well, no, there's a series, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
you might have seen it on Netflix.
No, girl. See, I don't.
So my brother
might have seen it.
Before Netflix cracked down,
yeah,
we would just use my brother-in-law's password, and he doesn't live by us or anything. So he would and this was before they had different profiles too. He would go into Netflix, and it would be recommended for you. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And he would send he's this single guy. He's what is this? Because we were watching it. Anyway.
But there is a whole genre
bronies.
Of people.
The bronies.
Yes.
Yeah. They're really I know. I'd be going down some rabbit holes sometimes, y'all.
She
I
just
really
said,
do.
I know.
Anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
Another controversy, but where you and I will probably side with the company, is has to do with LGBTQ plus rights. So they came out with a book. I don't have the year on here. That's weird. Or maybe I have it over here. I want to say it was 2017, but it might have been, it's probably later than that. Maybe 2021, 2022, called Body Image, How to Love Yourself, Live Life to the Fullest, and Celebrate All Kinds of Bodies. And the book faced intense backlash for its inclusion of a transgender pride flag and mentions of they, them pronouns and gender affirming care. So they talk about that in the pages. It's not like all about that, but that was like
What's included,
part of the
because
book.
that has to do with body image.
Yes.
Yeah.
So people have, especially the people who don't like it, have criticized 2 pages titled Gender Joy, which starts by saying messages about how bodies should look are different depending on a person's gender. Luckily, it's not your job to look the way people expect. It's your job to be you.
I love that. Now,
And
what is the problem with that?
Nothing.
Listen, I'm not going to get all too in the weeds here because I can do that. But whatever these people who got problems, whatever you think, believe, etc., whether you like it or not, human beings that are transgender exist.
Correct.
And whether you acknowledge that or not, they're real.
They are there.
And like,
and here. Yes, they are.
Yes.
They're living
I hate,
in
and
the
it's
world.
like, oh no, let's not see it written down. Well, that's fine, but guess what? They still exist.
Yeah, it's still a thing. Right.
I mean, whatever. And I am grateful that they had that because, correct, all bodies and all humans need to be recognized. And thankfully, we are living in a time where there is so much good language.
Yes.
For things that we didn't have before. Now, is there a good acceptance? Not yet, but we're climbing there.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, good for them for doing that. So what happened with that?
It's still on shelves and they're still selling it. The book, it's the first from American Girl to explicitly address gender identity.
Good. I like that.
Yeah, it's around. You can get it. Just some people don't like it.
Well, get over it.
Period.
I don't like a lot of stuff either, but you know what?
You just don't buy it.
Okay. I don't like dogs, but they still exist.
They do. There's so many of them, especially at my house. Which we are
I'm sorry. Dogs are not equal to humans. I was just being an idiot.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Karen stopped by to bring me that backdrop, and she brought her dog.
Oh,
her dog Milo.
So
he looks so much like my dog. It's not funny.
I know.
It was weird.
It is. They're dog twins.
They're dog twins. They're the same kind of dog, but as far as we know, not from the same line.
Oh, speaking of dogs, did we ever show you pictures of my sister's
No,
dogs?
and I was re-listening to that episode and I was like, damn it, they never showed me the pictures.
I will later.
Okay. So I saved the most interesting controversy for the end.
Oh, I can't wait.
Mainly because I was like,
Is it because they don't have boys?
No, but there actually is a boy doll now, which we'll get into. February 2017, the company announced that they were changing the certain dolls' bodies, not all the dolls, to incorporate permanently stitched panties. Public
These are the things we care about, America.
Public reaction to the change was overwhelmingly negative.
This is hilarious.
As fans of the franchise complained that it stifles customization and it devalues a well-established brand. There's a quote, someone said, it reduces them from heirloom quality to be passed down for generations to low quality retail.
Because they got drawers on?
I guess so. So they actually reversed their decision later that year. And the customers who had already bought a doll with permanent underwear were eligible for an exchange to have the dolls retrofitted with conventional torsos. This was a big deal, y'all.
These are the things we care about. Oh my god. Well, I mean, Ken doll has had his
had undies forever.
On, but not Barbie.
Not Barbie.
Patriarchy.
I mean, I don't want to get too in the weeds on it, but like, don't you just cover it up with clothes anyway? What's the difference?
I don't know. That's so weird.
I don't get
Why did they even feel like that was needed?
Like, why did they even want to do the underwear in the first place?
So let's envision the meeting that this may have happened at.
Oh God.
Like, because I'm guessing it was probably a man who had the problem to begin with. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't, but we're just going to.
It was probably Frank.
Probably was Frank.
It's his fault.
Probably raised his hand at the meeting like, hello, everyone.
I'm Frank.
Talking of our development, the next line of dolls, I really think we need some permanent stitched panties. And he probably used the word panties.
He probably did, honestly.
Like,
Oh, I can't.
why? Like, why? That's so weird and stupid and dumb. And like,
And for people to have like the
like
biggest reaction
why?
to be like, you're reducing the value of this.
'Cause they
What?
have on underwear?
I guess
I
because you
don't
can
know.
customize everything else. All
But
the
do you
clothes.
customize their panties?
Well, like you can decide what clothes to put on them and stuff, but
But
if it's
like, do they
permanent
have?
underwear, then you can't. It's just part of the doll.
But like, you don't customize the underwear, right? They just wear them. They don't like.
I mean, I guess. I mean,
Because
you're just.
that's weird. Now, if you customize panties for a doll, then I don't.
I mean, I think like different outfits come with like little bloomers or whatever that you can put
Oh,
on
like
them.
period appropriate.
Yeah, I think
Not
so. Like outfit.
like time
Well,
period.
maybe. I don't know. They got everything
Well,
else.
they did have a doll though that had something to do with their period, didn't they?
I think you're thinking of they have a book
Okay,
that's about girls'
Like
bodies. I don't have it written down here, but my girls did read it and it was super helpful.
Okay,
and it talked about things like
that's what I'm thinking
period.
of.
And it was like released by American Girl, but wasn't like connected to a doll,
Okay,
if
gotcha.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so just a few other little tidbits. So the one I was talking about before, the indigenous doll from the Nez Perce tribe, her name was Kaya. And it took 5 years to develop her. And she was created with special permission from the Nez
Okay.
Perce tribe, who worked with the author, Janet Shaw, probably not from the tribe,
But maybe, you don't know.
but maybe, who knows,
Well,
to
we'll
make
look it
sure
up.
Kaya's story was told in an accurate and respectful way. And an example of this is Kaya, unlike other dolls, does not show her front teeth because
Oh,
this is considered a sign of aggression in Nez Perce culture.
yeah.
So she's the only one to date that doesn't have those showing front teeth. In 2019, American Girl launched the Collector Doll series, and they are in a partnership with Swarovski. I can never say that.
Me either.
Swarovski
The
crystals, yes.
Whoa.
And they had 3 collector dolls, but like I saw one was like over $5,000. Like these are really expensive dolls.
They got Swarovski crystals
They
in their
do
eyes or something?
1,000 or more
In
on
their
each
eyes?
doll.
Like,
No,
where
on
are the crystals?
doll. I don't know. Oh, sorry. They're in a they're on the gown. They're not on the doll. I should have said the panties. The permanent
I don't know.
crystal.
I'm trying to think of
I
like a
don't know.
Swarovski, whatever, however
Whatever
you
you
say.
say it.
American Girl doll. Like, is she made of the crystals?
I guess it's
So
just her outfit.
I immediately thought of her eyes.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, it's just her gown. Sorry.
Just her gowns. And then, of course,
Her
you knew that
panties.
this was going to happen in 2023. I'm surprised it took this long.
Uh-oh.
American released 3 Disney princess dolls.
Oh, of course.
Jasmine, Belle, and Rapunzel. And then this year, in 2024, they released 3 more: Cinderella, Tiana, and Ariel.
Okay.
Why it took till now, I don't know, but hey, I'm sure they're very cute. In 2017, American Girl introduced Logan Everett, which is the first and only boy doll.
Only one?
He's in a band.
He's in a band.
He's in a band. I think he's a
go.
drummer, and I thought I had read that in one source, but then when I went back to confirm it, I couldn't find it. But he's in a band. You can do like custom dolls that are boys.
Okay.
So he's just the only named boy doll, but you can make a doll that's a boy
Okay.
or presenting as a boy if you want to. Yeah, male presenting. And I found out, do you know what the worst thing is that you can do to your doll to like make it get ruined?
Leave it in the sun.
That's a pretty bad one. Get her wet.
Oh.
Yes.
But they're plastic.
Water makes her eyes rust.
What?
And her cotton body mold.
Creepy.
And it wreaks havoc on her lovely hair. So now you know.
Okay, well.
Don't do it.
Don't put them in the water, guys.
Don't
like
do it. And that is it. That was all
really
I
good.
have. That's everything. I'm kind of mad at myself because you brought up that book about the body and the periods, and I literally have that in my house. Maybe we'll just do one on that or something.
Yeah.
Because it was really good. I read it first. Not that I'm like one of these like, oh, what are they going to tell my kid? But more like, oh, what are they going to tell my kid? So if they ask me,
yeah,
I'm like prepared.
Well, and you want to know I think you should know what information is being presented to your kid.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I
know.
remember just thinking, man, I wish someone gave me this book.
Oh, girl.
When I was younger. Because it was like honest, but you could read it by yourself and like process what was being said and presented to you about your body. And I remember it talked about things like body odor, like all sorts of stuff that like is nothing to be ashamed of. But if you don't understand how all this works, it's just anyway. Yeah. So maybe we'll bring that up later. But that was American Girl.
We did it.
Woo!
American Girl. And we talked about some weird stuff on the way, as we always do.
As we always do. But I think that's okay. That's what this podcast is all about.
We do.
And maybe the YouTube will be amazing. If it's not on YouTube, something went wrong, y'all.
Or if we were like, Danny wiggled too much. I feel like
Wiggle,
though,
wiggle,
I was
wiggle.
like, I don't watch our YouTube videos. I watched like 5 seconds. I was like, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I wiggle a lot.
That's okay.
Katie is so good about being professional and stationary.
Have you noticed though I'm a fidgeter with my fingers?
No, because
but you
they're out
can't
of the,
see it.
Yeah. Oh, see.
But I think that's a learned adaptation. Because as a kid, I used to do that too. Like I would look perfectly still, but my wiggles were places people couldn't see them.
So
Isn't that interesting? Even now on like Zoom calls, I'll be like out of the frame, like all sorts of movement, but all you see is the stillness.
Good job.
It's a learned behavior. I don't know if it's good or
well,
not.
I know. Is that good or bad? I don't know. I just wiggle all over the place.
It's just how it goes. But
I feel like there's probably a middle zone that you and I need to
I need to move a little more. Ooh, you need to move a little less. Yeah, that's okay. Well, I did not come up with a witty ending. Do you have one? Until next time.
Oh, crap. No. I got nothing.
Well, until next time, read a book.
Oh, no.
No?
Maybe we should only have witty endings if we are like really have one.
That's true. We should not
pressure ourselves to be witty, because I feel like our wittiest moments happen generically. When we plan them, the jokes don't land.
Or like sometimes when I'm writing stuff out, it will come to me organically.
Right. Well, that's generically.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant organically. That's what I meant.
Our generic jokes.
I don't know.
But hey, listeners, if you have a witty ending for this one, send it to us. Yes. We'd love to hear what they are. Maybe we'll do a little reel based on what people send us and see what we like. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll have some more really fun holiday content for you next week. Woo. And if you're a patron, hop on over to the after show and we will see you there. Bye, everybody.